Asian with American, living in the Americas. He's got a spirit running through his heart and small feet. You know he thinks he's got it so good, too good to be true. Working 60 hours a week with no end. And there's a woman in the kitchen cleaning up the evening mess. And he looks at her and says, "Hey darling, where is your patriotic smile for just a while?" Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America just you and me, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free, land of the brave? Everybody's America, and for you and me. Oh yeah, for you and me. There's a young George in an airplane next to his dad, listening to some rock and roll station. He's got his big old smile. He's got his dreams, remembering what his dad said. Lord, this must be my destination, 'cause they told me when I was a little, said, "Son, you're gonna be president." But just like everything else, those old crazy dreams. Oh, but ain't that America for you and me? Ain't that America just you and me, baby? Ain't that America, home of the free, land of the brave? Everybody's America, and for you and me. Oh yeah, for you and me.
Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys like that song that was written this morning. I was wanting something a little patriotic, but basically, the the song was inspired that America is us. It's not just one person, it's everybody. And without everybody, there wouldn't be an America. And I think right now in America, the country is feeling a little divided, and but it's not keeping their spirits down. Where it seems to the world we're falling apart in America, it's not. It's just what it feels like sometimes. But America is about everyone, is the bottom line. And I had to think about that really hard this morning, and I'm like, no, it's everybody. My family is very diverse. My two children are Native American Indian, the original settlers in America. And they actually are on a tribe. They get monthly checks and benefits. Like at the holidays, they send them gift cards and everything. They're with the Ponca tribe. And their father is Filipino. So I don't know how many of you guys knew that. Probably an audio check too, guys. But the it's just wild. And then me, I'm German and French. Like our family, we lived in a German area in where I grew up in Ohio. And so, and then I'm around all foreigners. My husband is Asian, and it's like, with the 4th of July comes also is the American Philippines Friendship Day. There's a whole history to that. Like the president moved it specifically to the 4th a while back, to try to outshine America, but there's like a whole history. that comes behind that also. And that's also the celebration today. So I'm with an Asian man. My first husband was half, but this one I have full Asian and everything. And I had no idea about Philippine history. I think a lot of expats don't, except for like the ones that were in the military and everything. So happy 4th of July, and happy, it used to be called, I believe, Independence Day is what it said. Um, the information that I'm to understand is the first 16 years after independence, July 4th, celebrated in the Philippines, it was like Independence Day. And in 1962, Desato Macapagal, I'll probably say it wrong, moved the country's Independence Day to June 12th, commemorating Emilio Aguinaldo's 1898 Declaration of the Independence of Spain. The July 4th later evolved into the Philippines American Friendship Day, recognizing the long standing relationship between the Philippines and the United States. We all know there were good times and bad times with that. Um, so honestly, I didn't even know about I call it baton, or the march. That was all learned after I got here. I didn't know a whole lot about the Philippines at all. Although I liked history, I guess I did not pay attention to a whole lot in world history. I was probably just sort of like, but today I'm going to behave myself. I'm going to stay on the all positive notes. I'm not going to let the trolls or whatever people say today. I'm just going to let it roll, and like that's nice. So I'm going to try to stay on a positive vibe today, which you guys don't see too often. So don't get too bored too quick. I did attempt to put the flag up. Thank you, Ted. I see you're in the room. We still have Ted's flag. We do put it up all the time. And I put it up, but it didn't hang. The humidity, the goddamn humidity got it. That's about the only. Um, I'm a little off course there. But stick around for this live. A lot of people keep asking about my medical and stuff. I just tell them to watch our videos, throw on a playlist. Every bit helps with the couple $100 that I have to spend just alone on my medication. I see several specialists a month now. The heart doctor, my blood work and his visits for $20 will be covered forever because somebody made an independent donation to just that office. I think there was some misinformation that I was given money for them and 5,000 for a hospital stay and all that, and it wasn't. It was one amount to the clinic. But I'm just watching the videos and staying around. The more you comment, the more people come in, and so it gets the algorithm going. So I do have like some trivia and facts. So I'm going to be like testing people today, stuff that I didn't know. I mean, did you guys know the Revolutionary War possibly began over some watermelons? It's like, what do you mean watermelons? So there's just some stuff that I dug up today, and so it'll be quite interesting. So let me know where you guys are. It is a blistering 81 degrees here. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. It's a nice 81 today. George is out like a light. George went to the Makati area again. He's taking care of some stuff with the family, and then he met up with a long time person, a long time member that gave him some money for my medication and wanted to do that in person. And he's met up with this person before, and so it was a planned thing. So he's out. He didn't get in till late, and so he should be in like Monday. Let's see. No, we're not doing a live Monday. He put a notice out because the live was to be yesterday, and the lives are usually on Monday too, but it's banking and a doctor's appointment on Monday. So we'll be back in Tuesday. So George will return on Tuesday. But welcome, everybody. How are you doing, honeys? I need more coffee. Everybody grab their coffee, grab their beers. Hey, fallen sinner, good morning. Fall in center is happy birthday USA, 250 years. You know what? It really still shocks me when you think about I used to have like friends, most of them were foreign in America, and they were like, "Yeah, your country's so young." And when I really start thinking about history, I'm like, "Yeah, it is." Short of being a Native American, and then of course the Mexican side of history, owning part of America and everything, initially it being sold off in Texas and all of that. But yes, it was Mexican territory and the Indians and stuff. And we come down the line from Europeans. Most of us can draw that back. I've even got Irish in me. I've got a sister that's full freckles and red hair, and she's beautiful, and a brother too. And we used to tease that they look like Howdy Doody. It literally looked like them when they were little, freckles and the red hair. So we have the Irish, but everybody has a history of like immigrants. My grandfather passed away at 94, and he came through Ellis Island. And so just a long history, but short years, 250. I had to think about that every time it started popping up. I was like, wow, that is a short amount of time. When I think about my grandfather passing away at 94 and he came here, he lived here for over 70 years. So you're thinking 70, 250, it's like Jiminy Crickets. So good morning, Sarah. Sarah saying hi. And there's Laura and beautiful mom. Hi, mom. And yes, Dee, it just started. Yes, of course. We've done this over the years. For those that have been around, even in Mexico, George went into full wigs and even a bikini, not like a bikini, it was a one piece silver bathing suit. And I told you we had that kitten in Mexico, and we got that doll that we've been messing around with that he got for my birthday. He wanted to replace the one in Mexico, the real live baby one. And he put them both in the backpack and was out there dancing in the mountain of Mexico. It's like it's like it was like in the height and the beginning of TikTok, and when people started doing a lot more of the YouTube. And so we were like bored. I mean, we'll be quite honest, during that pandemic we were bored. But yeah, for those that have been around have known that George will dress up. I've dressed up like a man, and so there's all kinds of stuff. We just like to have fun. Most definitely. Good morning, Rob. Good morning. And Ted is in the house. Yeah, like I said, I had that flag up. And then I was going to tuck it behind the couch. And then I thought I'd put part of it. And then I'm realizing my big ass will cover it. Once again, sorry. It's just still being positive. And then I'm positive that my big ass was going to cover it. And so I was like, ah. And I didn't want to, I still felt it was a level of disrespect by crunching it behind the couch. And so I folded the baby up and put her right here next to me. But happy birthday, America. Happy 250. We are still one of the youngest nations. Yep, that's what I was just coming in with. Yeah, it took me a little bit to write it, and I didn't think I'd have the time because I had to set up the live. And with him asleep, I got to make sure the outside cats start about 5 a.m. So it's like if I don't get the food out there at a certain time, then they start wandering into people's trash, and they go to hide during the heat. So then they won't get to eat if the sun comes up. So I tend to get out there at like 5 a.m. because I'm awake anyways. But I was like, let me write this song. And I knew I wanted it to sound like, now you guys are probably like with like the lyrics, part of them were part of John Cougar Mellencamp's Pink Houses, but I'd probably say 5% of the song. So it was an inspiration to use that as lyrics. And then I created what instruments and all that and how I wanted the singer to sound. And so, people know we create with an AI studio. So we just don't allow it to write it. We actually go in and create. Yeah, we're not playing the instruments or singing, but it still takes some creative mind. So I thought it, when I first heard it, it was just a little touching because I think about George's dad and everything. I don't, George could be president if he wanted to. Could you see that? Uh, Good morning. Slick Rick is in the house. How are you? Happy 4th of July. There's a lot going on here. The 69 Rock Bar, which has, what in my opinion, some of the best pizza here, is doing a 4th of July celebration. There's a lot of bars and restaurants owned by Americans and other foreigners, and they still do the 4th of July. And of course, there'll be a big celebration. The VW, the vets, VFW, I said VW, will be doing barbecues and everything else. It's really awesome. So there'll be a lot of celebration today. And I think I'll start you guys off with the first. Let's start out with the trivia and get you guys going. I'm going to go to one at the bottom that I was thinking, because I did write these down. Do you guys know how many hot dogs will be eaten on just the 4th of July in America? So, without peeking and sneaking, an ideal of how many, just a guess off the top of your heads. I thought it was a little extensive, but when you think about it, it's like, well, yeah, some people are going to be eating just bacon because it didn't seem like enough. But I wish that hot dogs is one of my favorites. And I just added a bunch of videos to we have like an Antics old TV playlist, guys. It's got everything in it. Very old stuff, broadcast, old Saturday morning cartoons with the full commercials. But I just added one that was doing the top music in 1976. And then the other one was dealing with school lunches. And I'm like, wow, I forgot about all that. So it's just like, it was like, yeah, they don't serve that stuff anymore in schools, which I thought was like odd that the government was always sending canned fruit, the fruit cocktail. And it was like also government cheese. They were sending so many supplements to these schools and they used it. So, like, the food was over greasy, deep fried. They had shit on the shingles, which my mom made all the time. It was one of our favorite meals, the chipped beef and cream and everything. But I was like, damn, memories, man. I said, let me add that to the Antics TV for the group, because sometimes you could just flip that on when you have time to actually watch it. But for like a lot of people here, when you start missing the American TV or just want to feel nostalgic, I actually put together that list in our playlist. I did the songs too. The songs are now listed on the playlist for 76. Can't believe how many songs were in there. Fallen Center, hey, I saw my screen name in your music video. Hashtag winning. Yeah. I've been putting a lot more of hashtag cancel George. We've been doing more videos of him individually. I think I did that with the baby doll when I told him to feed the baby and he turned the baby upside down. And it's like hashtag cancel George. We're trying to build that one up. Hi, Laura, my Bear Area neighbor. Hi, Patricia. Good morning. Good morning. I wish I could have some hot dogs. Them are like one of the most saltiest things on earth. I like the Nathan. I'm not so hot to trot on the Philippine hot dogs. So I thought they were weird. And George didn't cook hot dogs before he left. And he said he didn't remember, like, here, they've got a plastic cover on every last one of them. You have to peel them off on most of them when you go and take them out. And it's not the casing. There's definitely casing, but they're bright red. And to me, they're very, like, I don't know, they just don't have any flavor, but then they're salty. They put hot dogs in their spaghetti. That's what Jollibee, they put hot dogs in there with sweet spaghetti. But they do have some that you can get like at the Western stores like S&R, and you can get, there's like these New York hot dogs or something. But yeah, it's like one would kill my sodium for the day. So everybody's saying hi. Hey, Defender. Happy 4th of July. Harry is in the house. Hey, hey, hey. What is going on to the fantastic peeps? And Rob's in there saying hello. Everybody's saying their highs. XMX. Happy 4th, everyone. Still above ground. I hear you. I was just telling George, and I was telling somebody else, a few of our members I've talked to. It's just like I'm above ground. It looks like my birthday is all a possibility now. And so got to be thankful and turning a new leaf. I'm going to be pleasant. It's not that hard. Happy fourth. And did I miss somebody? I feel like I totally skipped everything. That's when everybody was saying hi, hi, hi. I think I got you guys. Except for everybody saying hi to everybody. Good question. We've answered this before. You've been in here quite a bit. Hey, Heidi, why can't George get a job? I can't figure out how to troll. LOL, can't you fly back home and hold your breath? Yeah, very nice of you, Rob. Of course, we know the basics on that. Somebody's got to take care of me. And even if he could get a job, I would have to, if he went and got a job, I'd have to have somebody here. So that's how sick I am. Anything like after this live, just sitting here for a few hours and I already fed the animals and I got my coffee, that's it. My body is already stiffening up. Um, I get a couple bottles of water a day. The further in the day I get, the more the water's retained in me. And the only way to get it out is with water pills, which are only half effective. So I can barely move. And so, I have to have somebody here. So George has been the caretaker. But even if he did, there's not enough money out there. And hiring a man that is 52 years old is even harder to get a job here. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I got an online job or I got this, I got that. No, not that easy anymore. So there's many reasons. And I know you're trolling Rob. And the same with hold my breath. I thought about that. There was a guy I just seen yesterday where he had the machine on his neck and everything. Like the guy was in bad shape. Three people had to carry him on. They couldn't even take the wheelchair in there. And I'm like, oh shit, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And I was like, no, he got a clearance. He had three people with him to take care of him. And it's like, no, that's the whole point is they don't mind my machine coming on. They're just going to want to know if I'm okay to fly. And there's not one doctor that's going to clear me. And if I just go walking on by myself, they're going to know I'm sick. There's just no way. And I can't even make it a few hours into the day. So a trip to the bank wipes me out. I'm literally sleeping for the rest of the day. I have low oxygen, as I told you guys, in my blood. It's in my blood. It's the swelling is causing me to breathe funny, and congestive heart failure is no joke. And so I miss my family. I'd like to see my dad before he passes away. I would like to get more medical care and get these stents. It feels like my chest is caving in all the time. So, good morning, Ray. What is going on? And let's do this to troll the trolls. For those that have been asking about support, there's my PayPal for my 4th of July hot dogs and towards me. So if you guys like what's going on and you want to support the 4th of July, and our birthday month is coming up, everybody. So I will be 55 officially, and George is 52. So his birthday rolls around sooner. For those that know, we do a lot of different things during the birthday month. I don't know how many we'll be able to do. Um, I'd like to find the energy to go to a movie, and we would definitely have to use the wheelchair if we go. And I was wanting to go to the new Candy Palace. We haven't been there in probably a few years, but just, but our birthday month is coming. Maybe I could buy a bunch of baby dolls and put them around the house. Mary's scared of the baby doll, by the way. Happy Independence Day. And thank you, Rob. Yes, guys. Make the comments. Let me know where you're at. Are you guys all sweltering in the US or wherever? Is it really that hot? Florida was. I thought Philippines was hot, but I told George it's actually, in my opinion, been cool here. We don't even have the AC on high. Usually we keep it on high, but I'm just grateful for every day of good weather. Oh man, I wish spam is my favorite. You know, spam back in the day was cheap. My dad probably made spam twice a week for us kids, and it was a dinner thing. And we would do like green peas, macaroni cheese, or something, all sodium, you know. And but I love spam. You know, a lot of the Philippines food are like my top foods, like spaghetti and you know, the hot dogs and the sweet stuff. Like, you know, my guilty pleasures are more sugar than actually salt and bacon. All bad things. Coffee, spam and eggs and toast. My great great whatever grandfather was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. He was the first to die. John Morton. Oh wow. According to our blood, we did one of those DNA things. They said that I was related to Marie Antoinette. Like, let's eat cake, she said, or give me a piece of cake or I'm going to throat punch you, something like that, you know? Isn't that how the history went, especially if Heidi's related? Eh. uh, cats. Good morning, Joey from South Texas. Oh, Richie Rich abroad. I've been watching you guys lately. Hi. Good morning to you, George and Heidi. Happy 4th of July. Like the button. Smashed and subbed a long time ago. Yes, we're subbed to you too and watch you quite often. Good morning to you. Always interesting. I give it to you because Richie Rich does all kinds of content, but he does give a lot of advice on Filipinas and dating and all of that. Our initiality was like expat help. So many people needed to come here. And, you know, we've always done something funny, crazy, didn't hide if we were fighting and stuff. And then, of course, with George being a Filipino, we were given, you know, so much information out. But I think when it came to some sort of dating, I basically just covered when there was like scamming or, you know, there was a good relationship, we would bring couples on. And we haven't done that in a long time. We were bringing some couples on, but I can appreciate your content for sure, dude. And Sarah's saying her hellos again in here. No hot dog shall be eaten by me. I tell you, you know what? I even watched this before, like how it was made, and it didn't change me. And honestly, George had ordered some beef jerky. Let me tell you about this. This is really wild. I wish I'd have brought the jar over here. It just looks like beef jerky. It's from Hong Kong. And it took, I don't know, 2 weeks for him to get it because, of course, it was an import. Wildly, it's the craziest, best tasting beef jerky. And the company is called Eight Cats. And George says, I don't want to know. He said, I said, and what if you did know? Whether it was people jerky or cat jerky, you still gonna eat it? He said, Yup. We both like yup. But it's wild. It's the craziest. Like when we open that jar, and he's had jerky before, the cats come from upstairs. It's and even after it's open, they still it's like they get the smell of it. And it is, it almost tastes like it tastes gamey. Like if you guys have had like yak meat or buffalo, or it just has a, but this one is somewhere between, I don't know, it's wild, but it's just, it's not over salty. It's more on the sweet side. It's crazy. But George says, yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't like beef. But I know what hot dogs are made of and still do. Laura's first guess, guys. We have a question. How many hot dogs do Americans eat on just the 4th of July? So close, close, and close. 1.2 million. And again, there is Laura. Actually, you're not close. Way more. 5 million. You're getting warmer. There you go, Laura. You're getting hot. You just there. You're simmering, baby. Ask your mom. Ask your mom. And that, like I said, it's just in one day. And I'm like, dang. I know I'm going to eat about four, right? Uh, Slick Rick is saying hi. Also to Richie, good morning. And Richie in there saying morning to you. And if you're still in here, Richie, what do you think? They have hot dogs. How many? And how many are you eating? When George dresses like a woman, he's kind of cute. I'm 6'2", 240. If I dress up like one, I look like an old man drag. Yeah, no, George is, like he said, since he's been in the Philippines, he's put on some weight, but it's, to me, he filled out. Like when I met him, he ate like once a day or he didn't at all. He was working so many hours and he was super, super skinny, and now he has put on some weight. He's not happy with it, but no, he's always. Filipinos are just pretty. Asian men, is just very dainty. Most of them. Now there's some heavy set ones here, and some that are mixed with Europeans and Americans. Where they're mixed or something, or they're mixed with other Asians, and they tend to be bigger now because of all the steroids and food. But no, he's putting wigs on several times, and he is. You're right. It's just like, it's kind of like Bruce Jenner putting on clothes at this point. It just looks all gangly and stuff. So, oh man, yeah, the school pizza was something in the 70s too. And if you guys remember, they had the triangle ones. I don't know if that was every school or just northern school, but they were more like a Mexican flavor or like a taco, and they were square and crispy. And if I could trade off everything on my tray for it, I did as a kid. I was a skinny kid till I got pregnant. I mean, in soccer and high school and everything. As soon as I had kids, boom. But used to trade off. I miss the lunch lady, right? And it's crazy because they would talk about like each one of those meals, like shit on the shingle was like 12 cents a serving. And if you remember, you were handing out 25 cents or 50 cents. You got the extra chocolate milks, or people would just give you your milk. I'd sit there with like 4 milk cartons and stuff. It's like people were just giving it away. Kids were just done. Nah, that is true, Laura. Hot dogs are poison. So those mamas were hot, Ted. At least mine were. You talking about like the lunch ladies and stuff? Also, for you guys, I mean, I see that I got a ways to go through the comments, and that's what today's going to be. We're just going to be conversating back and forth with the room, celebrating 4th of July and the independence and everything. It's already the 4th here. Um, what is some of your memories as a kid? Like, what was your best 4th of July that you can remember, or the memories as a kid? For me, our family got together. My grandmother lived out in Worthington, Ohio, when it was all farmland. Now it's all malls. They built hundreds of houses out there, subdivisions. It's horrible. But when I was a kid, it was all cornfields. My grandfather's farm and their farm was a few miles from the house. She had bought a house later. They were later separated. He had passed away, my grandfather, and she lived there, but she had full gardens, gigantic tomatoes hanging off there, all kinds of corn. My mom just used to have us go out and take a brown paper bag and pick the corn, and my grandma said, "Yeah, take it on home." And but we would have the 4th of July picnics. We would set off the basic fireworks when they were simple, and just all the food. It was like a full stretch, but mostly desserts and stuff were like the watermelon, fruit salads, all of that stuff, gelatin, the basics. But you can picture everybody sitting around drinking their beers. All my cousins were there, tons of family. We used to hang out and stuff. And they're good memories. I was just thinking about my mom the other day. Always, like, I've got her photos here in the house on the wall. She had passed away at 50. So, again, going to keep it positive, but I think about those good memories, where my dad was there. Although they had already divorced, they were always there. I was blessed with a stepmother that had her own kids that I considered sisters, and it was just one big party. So it's a lot of good memories. 20 minutes off your life each one, right? Right. 250 years. Look at the graph. where they show you how many of those years were at war. Insane, yeah. Yeah, I told George, you know, since January, it's like, okay, I got to clean up my diet and this, and that. I think I had pizza once and I had chicken, which is basically it's the Korean chicken that has sauce. Every time I've attempted something like that, and it's not like I ate it 3 times a day or something, it was too much sodium. It would cause double the water retention. I just can't have any. So, yeah, hot dogs would probably kill me right now. I told George, I said, I was like, I'm going to eat what I want and how I want. And the first time I had that 2 piece of pizza, man, I was, ugh. And so, yeah, it's so full of stuff. It's so yummy, but it's really bad. Laura, ever eat those electrocuted hot dogs? Never heard of them. Hot doggers. Oh, my nose. Itchy, itchy, itch. Oh, yeah, Ron Popeil owned the Ronco. Huh. Is that where they rotate in the machine or something? Sarah's like 200,000. You're getting hot there. All right, I'm going to give you the answer. I know I'm still going through here. It's 150 million will be done just on the 4th of July. Um, but yeah, so I'm not sure if anybody got that. I'm going through here and reading. Double nickels, morning. Good morning, second win. Did not have a microwave until much later. Yeah, I was watching ER. You guys know I've been watching it. And they were like in 97 or 98. This couple were married. They broke up, got back together. And she had a microwave in her house. And the ex husband came over to spend the night because she was sick or something. And he was like, but you said no microwaves. They were bad for you and that you couldn't afford it. And I'm like, damn, 98. And I was like, yeah, some of them back then were expensive. And the same here. I'm trying to think when I got mine, probably around the same time. My mom didn't have one. My dad had always had one. But no, my mom didn't have a lot of gadgets. Her cooking was I think she had one of those crock pots that she used, and then there was some sort of cooker where that big black thing plugged in the side and it had a dial. And it didn't have the nonstick in it was just all metal or something. And she used that on the occasion, but usually took it camping. And we did camping trips for the 4th of July. My mom used to take us. One year we did the drive ins and we dropped by a place called Dog and Suds, and it's like plastic barrels of root beer. You get like 2 of them and 2 dozen hot dogs. And my mom would load the car up, and that wasn't even that expensive. So for $10, she got all that, the food, and got us in for under $10 back in the day. And try that right now. Ah, it's cooling down. 62 in San Francisco. Yeah, it just turned 80. It was 81 earlier. It went down. Spam and salmon and hot dogs are the worst. I like salmon if it's done right. Fish, there's something here that what do they call that? It's not a milk fish. It might be called that, but it's basically I think it's like trout or it's a lot like tilapia, but it's got I think the name milk in it or something. Creamy dory. It's pretty mild. We do a lemon, butter, and black pepper on it. So that I like that. We have beautiful weather in the city by the bay, down the highway next to the swamp, and corrupt police mismanaged services. Gorgeous weather though, high 60s. There you go. You better sit down somewhere second win. Probably that dirty magazine company or that online company, Adam and Eve. That's who you related to. Your family probably the proprietaries. Oh, damn, Ted. You think, oh, God. Now, thank you for the vision, Ted. Thank you for the super chat. Uh, that's for some chocolate X-Lac girl. You know you're thinking about. Damn you, Ted. I'm going to tell you a quick freak thing. I was starting to. I think I started talking about that where the guy from said when he would go back to India, there's some freaky stuff going on. Like if you picked up a girl over there, he said there was these girls that would they call them mattress girls or something. Like specifically, the guys would make them shower, but they would just the girls would drag mattresses into the shower area and just shower and then do their business right there, and all kinds of freaky stuff like freaky stuff like that. It got freaky. And I'm like, okay, there's another vision is people making out on a wet mattress in a shower. Hey, Thomas. Good morning. Mid 90s in California. What is going on, Thomas? Uh, I've eaten one or two of my mom's before. I always had sugar cravings since I was a kid. Could be part of my anxiety and craziness and everything in one, but uh, yeah, you wouldn't know the difference. It was just sitting there on the counter situation. Oh my God, this is real. I just want to tell you, I guess we're still going to stay positive on this. There was an article I just seen, uh, and I don't know if anybody else seen this. They said that a woman glued her husband's butt shut and then did all laxatives in his drink. It was messed up. It was bad. I was like, so when you said that, it reminded me super glued. He'd been cheating for a while. She super glued his butt in his sleep. Ugh. Ted, me and my buddy had a bachelor pad and stole a bunch of McDonald's toilet paper and made X-Lax chocolate. And I ate all of it. I was raw, I bet. Georgia's Benny Boy. We called the kitten, her name is Beignet because she's white, and we call her Beignet. It's a white powdered donut from France. But we just call her Ben Ben or Benny. I don't do hot dogs thing anymore after I saw the documentary, what they were made of. I hear you. You can tell what we're eating, thousands of people dying, and they're not adding any more cemeteries. Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah, you think about that. I seen one state the other day. I don't know if I think it was Connecticut. When they're unclaimed, which is a lot of bodies, by the way, probably 3 out of 10 are unclaimed because their people have already passed away. When you get up there, a lot of your siblings have already passed away. If you're 80, 84, yeah, unclaimed, or you can't find the people, they're cremating, not burying them in mass graves like a lot of states do. And they're dumping the ashes in the ocean. So 37 million, 56 million. Joey Chestnut alone. Oh, wow. Oh, the Bisquick pizza. Yeah. Yes, it is. Prostate cancer is fast becoming the highest death rate, and it's based on food. It's based on a few things. My dad had issues. Honestly, they're saying it's self relieving. It has to do with sex life, and they tell men to take care of business. They told my dad that. I listened to him myself. And it is. It really is. Another thing that I learned recently, I keep telling George, is to sit down when you go to the bathroom now. You'll get more of the urine out if you sit down because of the way your bladder is positioned. When you stand, um, it's you don't get all the urine out. So it is best to sit after a certain age. So, and yes, it's everything. It's in the water, it's in the air, it's in the foods. America is one of the least regulated countries when it comes to food now. I'm hearing the fireworks, they are banned, but banging already 4:30. Wow. It gets pretty wild around here. And I'm pretty sure we'll hear some tonight. I'm sure there are companies that'll be setting them off. My favorite was going out and finding an old lady and taking her back to the house, cutting her up and grilling her on the Barbie. Oh, snap, man. Sure you are. Slick. Worthington is close to Sunbury. I remember it traveling. Yeah, Yeah, it was like Worthington Galena Road, and it was all country out there. Anything when you got to that area. My grandmother would literally, I remember when she would go in town, there's like a Kmart and a bunch of stores. There were some ice cream shops, but it was not a 2 minute drive or even five. I want to say it was 15 minutes away from the house, easy. But everything out there was farm. And the further you go down these roads, huge yard. She used to make us go out there and pick switches to have our ass whipped. I remember that quite well, and we had to stay out and play all day. You weren't going to run around her house and dirty it up. And we came in for nap and lunch, and she made us nap even at 11 year old kids sleeping on the floor. But yeah, we used to get the switches, and I remember running in the yards, and mostly for picking on my cousins. That's about my extent. Whoa, that was a dark memory. Hope you don't miss those days. When we were kids, we used to go down to the brook and walk through those long, wet tunnels and come out the other side later. I learned our sneakers and everything was smelly and nasty. I did that once on Walking Street. I figured, what the hell? I was all soaking wet in my tennis shoes, and I'm sitting there kicking and splashing, and the water's everywhere, and all the guys are looking at me. And we have a video of that, and George and the guys are just staring at me. I guess the sewers back up, and it was what was running down the street. So George goes, "You're literally playing in Filipino shit and urine." I'm like, "Oh, dang it, man. I just thought it was regular trash going down the thing." And I said, "Thanks. You guys knew that while you watched me do it?" He goes, "Yeah, but we thought you were smart enough to know what it was." I was like, "How would I know? I'm just walking down these streets." Now, since then, they put in a better system to drain that area on Red Street and Walking Street and that sections. But no, we used to walk down the railroad tracks. We had tons of railroads and tracks in Ohio, and we used to walk for hours in one direction. Knew it's how we got home. It was we just kept walking and walking and walking all day. My trolling is off this morning. Damn, the neighbors stopped the karaoke at 3 a.m. I won. There it is, 150 million. Yeah. Well, like my dad said, moderation. It's the people that are eating two pizzas at a time. And I told George the other day, I said, I wish for my size I was eating like that. Um, it's because we're not moving, and a lot of our jobs are sedentary. We're gaming, and we're not getting out like we did as kids. And we're not young. After a certain age, your metabolism goes straight down. I used to love the camping trips until I started watching documentaries and missing people, right? Gets to be real stuff. Too many bones. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, you've never gone camping? Yeah, I mean, my mom took us all the time. And then I went to summer camp, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I went to Camp Odioqua. And my mom started sending probably when I was about 9 years old and went for many years. It was one of the, in Hocking Hills, Ohio, one of the best experiences to have a big sister because my mom and dad broke up when I was like 3 years old. So we qualified to have a big sister. She'd come like twice a month, take us to the movies. Um, it was really nice to have a person that would mentor you and go through all that with you. Chocolate is my weakness. I like white chocolate. George tried to, he got a croissant at a vendor and it had chocolate. I said, "Ugh, that kind of ruined it." I said, "I just wanted a plain buttery croissant, but it had chocolate. I'm not okay with that. I'm more of the white chocolate and fruit person. So I like the fruity items, like George. Uh, maybe because my mom couldn't cook, made the best apple and spice cake. There's so many memories for the school lunches. So many memories for school. Like somebody made an AI video showing what school looked like in 1980 something. And I think it was a big difference. I remember like when Halloween came around. You guys remember in the 70s and early 80s where they marched the kids through the neighborhoods, the schools with their mask, and we had those plastic masks on and stuff that were different costumes. The boxes that held your plastic costume, it was like a plastic apron on the front of you. In the later years when we got bigger, my mom just said, here's my makeup bag, put something on your face, and we would draw something instead of her buying things. Priests have lower rates of cancers. My dad passed away from prostate cancer. All men need to have, yeah, check PSA levels every year after 50 if you have a family history need to be. Yeah, guys, it's, prostate is no joke. There's a lot of gentlemen passing away. I was talking to my primary care VA doctor about the exam, and he said they don't do tests unless you ask for them and could do it digitally. Do you take shoes off before going into the house? For me and George, we don't. In the Philippines, it is common, but in our house, because we're always sweeping and mopping because of the cats, probably should. It is one of the dirtier habits. And we already like do X amount of cleaning because the animals are here. But Willie will even run through the house every now and then. We just mop several times a week. No, it is. There's a lot of germs. Yeah, there was cabins, and then they also, depending on the age, some of the teenagers that were over 12, they had like a wooden plank, and then they would literally have like TP wooden boards, or they actually had tents. But it was like way out in the woods. I remember our laundry never dried. They had a swimming pool there. We had dinner. We were allowed to swim for a couple hours. As soon as it would get dark, we had to go back. You got to go to a snack room and buy like red cream sodas and chips, and you were like limited to how many items. But our mom sent like $5 each, and it lasted. That's how cheap the items were, and it lasted 2 weeks. And you were able to get snacks almost every day. And by the time we hung our towels and bathing suits up, they were still wet by the next day because we were so far into the mountain area, and it was just like always wet. I made my oldest daughter in a 71 Ford camper. It was great going through the drive through, get a burger, park, watch a movie in the van, and rock anywhere you want. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right, guys. For those that are sticking around. All right, so we got that. Let me go through and ask you guys some of these. All right, so I'm just going to have you guys randomly answer, then I'll go through the answer. Before it was changed to October, celebrating independence from Spain, what day used to be the official Philippines Independence Day from the United States? I said that earlier, so that's kind of more of a historical thing. Well, we know what it is now. I just said today's the 4th of July, but when was the original? Oh, well, this one's easy. 1950s and 1960s American sitcom queen. Famous for her bright red hair and chocolate factory scene, is universally loved by the older generations in both the United States and the Philippines. The Philippines loves her. Who is that, guys? Laura, who is that? Merry Christmas. Hey, second wind. Who's that redhead lady? I know we rarely do this weird trivia thing, but like I said, I'm trying to stay positive, trying to do something different. There you go, Laura. Lucy. Manila is famous for its iconic jeepneys. What American military vehicles were they originated from? And I mean, I knew that's why they called them, but I thought they just built them like that now. I had no idea. And I'm just going to give it away. George says they took old jeepneys after the war and they turned them into transport. So that's why they're called jeepneys, which I figured the word jeep, I just thought they were building them to look like an oversized jeep. It was a lot of the jeeps. They left so many of them behind. Oh, yeah. Okay. This one's asking about classic American brands. Is it cheaper to buy a Filipino brand? Yes, of course. Imports here can cost you. George bought something yesterday at the mall and he went into the Disney store at the Mall of Asia and he said that the Disney items, he's seen items as much as 12,000 pesos, like $300. He goes, but when I was at the Disney store in Florida, he said, them were $100 items. Yes, they're going to charge double for any imports. Some things are okay. I don't notice them that being that expensive, like Heinz ketchup or Skippy peanut butter, but it is way more expensive than getting like I think they call it Ludi's or UFC products here. You'll get used to the Filipino brand. Uh, and most people, true or false, in the Philippines, you buy eggs right off the shelf and keep them at room temperature. Yep, Sarah Jeeps. Yeah, most definitely. And Sarah's right on Lucille Ball. So tell me about the eggs, guys. This kind of freaked me out. That'll kind of give you the answer there. I don't do anything Disney. We brought a set of cups that George has. We might start using them, but right now they're just a decoration on our top shelf. But he bought all six of them and he said it cost him quite a bit. I think it's over $100 worth of coffee cups. And so and yes, eggs are not refrigerated here. Once you wash the bloom off of them, like when my grandmother had a farm, you just keep them on the shelf. Now you gotta watch. Some people claim they can stay out for like 2 weeks, and I don't know that mine lasts that long, even with the AC in the house. And that could be why they turn quicker. But as long as you don't wash them, yes, they can just stay there. And I think the ones that we have that go bad, although they're not in the refrigerated area, they're in a cold store and they put them near the refrigerated area. So those eggs seem to go bad. But no, it's like an old farm. You never refrigerate the eggs. U.S. eggs are legally required to be washed and stripped of the natural protection layer that forces it to be refrigerated at that point. But the Philippine eggs generally skip this process and they just stay stable at the room temperature. How much does Americans spend on fireworks? After the pandemic, the number went crazy. When all the people stayed home, they focused on their home 4th of July parties. How much are they spending now? Peppers put oil on eggs to make them last. For all preppers, or maybe you meant preppers. Yeah, balut eggs. Ugh, I still haven't eaten one. I will eventually have to. I think I said when we hit 30,000, and we're getting pretty close to 30,000, guys. Preppers, I thought so. I thought this was an insane amount. Let's just say it's over 600 million. Pre-pandemic, it was 600 million, and now it has went out the roof. Now it was 600 million before, Robert. Pre-pandemic, after that, it just went up, and let's just say it's over 1 billion now. But since then, what are they going to spend this year? This includes the everybody, the big companies, the personal people. Did anybody see now that they've got these guns that are shooting off 4 or 5 thousand rounds? This is the first year I've seen it. It's all over Instagram and TikTok. And there was even this high school girl that said buy it, and then afterwards they're like, oh, this group blah 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 from high school, they're sponsoring her, so she must be some big person in her high school, maybe cheerleader, the head of the cheerleading or something. But she went out there shooting this thing, and it looks like almost like an Uzi, and it just goes around, like one of those machine guns. But it's 3 or 6 thousand rounds, and I'm like, that was wild. So yeah, 610 million after the 2000, but after the pandemic, there was a lot more on that. Yeah, close. Yeah, it was that last year, but this year it's really astronomical. Legal or illegal fireworks, my local sheriff charged 1,000 for anything that goes higher than 10 feet. Oh snap! Oh, they go crazy on New Year's. You guys have heard them revving the cars and the fireworks. It's like they're off the chain. Christmas Day and New Year's. I've been here. This is our 6th year. I don't remember. We'll see some in the distance because they'll do it for the Americans. But it is also the 4th, the independence. So they're liable to set them off from their independence from America. It is actually the noise levels and the X amount of fireworks are supposed to be here either. Mhm. I will only eat balut if the Philippines gives me a Philippine passport. That's funny. I seen where George posted the link to where you can do things online with immigration, and one of them is citizenship. I guess mostly it's not as much for like me to apply for citizenship or somebody else. They've only given 16 spots out for ever, like 200 years. Maybe it's more than that. Hmm, I don't know. But it's more for like people with dual citizenship and things like that. Hey, Evie, what are you doing? Hmm, dry lips. Fireworks are done here almost 365 days a year, right? I'm hearing them now. Some love breaking the law, breaking the law. Now, the cheap bastards don't do them on the 4th here. They do them on Thursday. It's cheaper. Uh, it's like I know some families, it's a real deal. They'll celebrate all holidays the day after just to go, like, even down to the Halloween candy. Don't worry about the costumes and all that. They'll buy their items for the following year the next day, which is smart. But they buy up the candy, they do it on Valentine's and all of that. They also trick or treat on the wrong day and the daylight savings now as well. All the fireworks come from China. They're making a killing from them. Yeah, it is where it's coming from. Ventura, when I lived there, was doing them before sunrise instead of night because of all of the violence. Wow. It is stupid between the fireworks and other bang bang noises. It is nightly something going boom. Well, it's pretty scary. They've set the noise ordinance here in the Philippines again, and this was recently. And they said, it scares the crap out of the animals. There's a lot of homeless animals on the street, and the elderly. It really is bad. They may be losing their hearing, but that stuff is even more sensitive. And like I told you guys about that noise where the bass was shaking the house, and it went on for over 12 hours. And they did have an event 2 days ago, and George goes, may the force be with you, or good luck. I said, what? He goes, they're practicing over there. But they had the show and there was no loud bass. So maybe somebody did complain about it, but they're supposed to be giving big fines out for any house karaokeing after a certain hour. I believe it's 10 o'clock. I'd have to look up what the ordinance is now, but they said they would, but nobody really did it. Good morning, Robin. Good morning. Japan only allows 20 people, refugees a year to come in their country. They don't play around. Japan's a hard place to get into, whether it's Filipinos or like Filipinos have to apply in advance. There's a bunch of things. They said they're getting ready to change their visas for the Philippines, but yeah, the Philippines has only had 16 or 17 people, and I think Kulos, the vlogger, was number 17. Laura says use Halloween candy to make Christmas houses. There you go. I still have candy canes. I do too, believe it or not, I do. Usually we give those out and we put it on the tree last year. I told you they're the ones that I think came from China. They have no flavor, it's just pure sugar. So I ate one and we were supposed to give the rest out to the kids. And those kids, by the way, we've been in this house now for like 4 or 5 years, 4 years. I couldn't believe it's been that long. Well, remember, them guys were probably 8, 9, and 10. Now they're almost up at what I would consider teenagers. We see them walking by, but they don't, they're, I think they grew out of that stage, but we don't get those kids. I'm like, I kind of miss those kids now. It's kind of like when they're gone, you miss them. Here, here, Beignet, come here. Come here up here. Here, come here. Oh, come here. Here. Let's see if I can catch the kitty. Here, come here. Come up here. Look. Want to say hi? Huh? Look up here. Look at you. This is my wannabe Siamese. Say hi, Ben Ben. Weirdo. She likes to bite. Hi. So her mother is Siamese. There's this gigantic Siamese that, again, these people let him be outdoor, indoor, and they definitely, she belongs to somebody. She's huge. I probably say she's almost a 20-pound cat out there. But she's always pregnant. And this one showed up a few months ago at the door. So that is her mother. She must have followed her and then ended up in our yard. Too bad for them. And her dad is White Boy Rick, by the way. So he's the all white cat that laid into me. And by the way, that's almost healed, guys. It still looks like crap. I might be able to pull the camera down and show you. Might get a YouTube strike. Are you going to fall asleep on me? But yeah, her dad is White Boy Rick. Miss Siam. I know. That's not dirt in her eyes. That's like Siamese dripping out of her eyes. Go on, Siam. No, like my leg turned out way better than I thought. Let me see if I could get a photo. So yeah, it only took, I think we're at month, things I mentioned, that's like number 3, third month or something, but I cleaned it this morning and it looks bad. George, I don't know how well this will show up. I know my tattoo because the circulation is gone. Yeah. So talk amongst yourself. Happy 4th of July. Yeah, it just depends if it shows up or not. Let's see if it does. There it is. You could still see. It's cutting it off because of the light. There you go. But that is the hole. That used to go all the way through. Like I could put my thumb in there. Now I'd be lucky to put a pencil eraser, but I'm not out of danger. It's still red around there, and I have to clean it twice a day. But what happened is I got bit by a cat. I had to go to a clinic and get rabies shots and tetanus and everything else. And it was just punctures in the beginning. And then after about a month, because of my coronary artery disease and my heart issues, there was no healing. Like right now, there's little to no circulation in my legs. And then the less I move, the worse it gets. And it's just like a total circle. So that's 3 months it broke open and started caving in, and so it basically turned into a, I guess they call it a venous ulcers because of my heart condition and not moving. Like if I was walking all the time and didn't have heart conditions, then it just would have healed after a few weeks. But it's 3 months and there's still a hole in my leg. But it's not as big as it was. It got better. Can't forget about the choppers and the spotlights, right? At San Diego. Hey, Scott. Good morning. Good morning. 43, huh? Yeah, you're going to be roasting for sure. Ghetto bird robins. They like to circle too. No, they're never going to enforce it. And in the beginning, you get kind of tired of it. So either you can make it through it or not. And I seem to think if we move over to Clark and get into a condo, no, you could still have loud neighbors. You're still, like George says, you can still hear things. And it's nobody is. Everybody is just having fun. I mean, I can respect that at the same time, but it's it's really loud. Oh wow, interesting. Military parents. My two sisters were born in Japan. My sister was in the army. Her children were born in Germany. There was problems when she tried to bring them back because it was a way. I don't think she had filed their birth certificates properly or something. So yeah, they were born in Germany. She had to take care of some paperwork. They are dying off because people are leaving and they're all old people. Entire village is empty. Wow. I was stationed in Sasebo and TAD, Kadena Air Force Base, and Yokosuka. Is that, yeah, in Japan? Ah, okay. Your dad was a Marine. Yeah, I was getting to that. There you go. 1959 to 62. Yeah, my dad, we didn't travel with him. He was out of the military just as he met my mom, but he was in the Vietnam War. And so was some of my uncles. One of them died from the Agent Orange and cancer and everything. So, Aloha, Bravo, and Charlie companies. Alpha. Ted says, Rob, I almost died when we pulled into Sasebo. I drank too much absinthe. Oi, absinthe at the Westerners bar. Oh man, I would kill for some absinthe. Ugh, eh. George, we were talking about vodka the other day. We used to make like jello shots and different things. I forgot what we mentioned because that's right. We used to drink vodka, didn't we? I said, yeah. So George has shots every now and then, but I don't think we've drank very much alcohol since we've been in the Philippines. We used to do a lot more when we were a lot more active and going camping and doing different things. We just slowed down, and now I don't at all. I tried like last year, I tried to have one of these apple beers. I get halfway through it and it just, kitty cats. They told us if it was off limits, so the sailors is like off limits, up, let's go. Scott saying hi to Ted. I was born last near the end of my dad's military career, so having no memory really. But my older brothers and sisters moved around. I always thought that would be cool. I lived in the same place that we had a duplex. I call it a townhouse. It's kind of like what I'm living in now. We had the upstairs with a couple bedrooms, bathroom upstairs, one down. They more considered them townhouses than a duplex being split. It was like a whole section of them built like that. They build them like that here, side by side, or they got little to no room in between them. And but I always thought it would be cool if my parent was traveling around the world too. But that also gets old. I used to go to the local bars and bring snuff and Red Man and pockets full of change and leave drunk with a pocket full of money. There you go. I was on the USS. I'm probably saying these wrong. Is it Dubweek or Dubweek? Fil-Am station in Sasebo. That is so much better. Good job. Yeah, that was scary, guys. I did go to the doctors a few times on it, and they said that's all I can do. I ended up getting what's called pressure bandages, or they're meant specifically for ulcers. And I did have a cream, but that made it worse. He said, no, don't use the cream anymore. I stopped the cream. I only used it for like 2 days. We tried the wild honey that was pure medical grade, and no, it needs to dry out totally. That's why I don't have a band aid on it today. And no, those ulcer band-aids, because when people are in wheelchairs or in bed, like the elderly that never get out of bed, they'll get gigantic decubitus that get big, and you could put a small orange in there. They get so big. You have to cover them with that, and it kind of sucks out the moisture and dries it out. But some of them live permanently with those pads, and I've had one on for 3 months, not constantly. So it is getting better. I'm blessed, guys. And I told George, God or whoever's looking out after me is I always get a leg up somewhere because I shouldn't be here because of my illness. Nothing's changed. I still have my blood still being squeezed off whole thing, and here I am. I didn't think I'd make it to my birthday, and they were telling me I had days to live. Every day still is a blessing. And then the other part was my leg. You're going to lose your leg again. My right leg was a spider bite. Now my left leg had this hole from the cat. Is the worst thing that could have happened for those that seen that video. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to be hurting and healing for a while. I didn't know once it was almost healed that it would cave in. Kids out there playing. But it did, and it's almost healed. Very lucky. Rob said Korean and Japan. Korea and Japan, I have too many memories of the fishy smell. Philippines, I don't, but I'm sure did in those countries. There's a different smell here in the Philippines. My dad served in the infantry in Korea. I think a lot of the people we know have military ties and everything. 1945 to 1966, United States Marine Corps. My brother was a Marine. Today is 23rd anniversary of his death. He died 75 of cancer. Yeah, sorry about that, Laura. God bless him. It was 75 good years. So, and God bless him for serving. I just stick with Red Horse. It is smooth for a malt and it had enough alcohol to get the job done. Mine was the company, the same one. I don't know who does it, but they have like the apple beer or something. I can't think of the company, but they have an apple and they got flavored beers, and that was the closest one. It was more like an apple cider here. My father was in the Air Force when we lived in Japan on a base called Azuki. We lived right up the street from and saw a volcano. Oh wow. Did you guys see that eruption of the Tahal or something? They had it all over the news. I don't know if that was within the last month, but it showed how it had the explosion and everything like across the water, and it really freaked people out. Just so lucky that that hasn't like exploded, for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, and I want to say thank you for being here and happy 4th of July. We're early here in the Philippines, and most of you are there, back on the other side of the pond or whatever they would call that, or the other side of the world. So enjoy your 4th of July and eat plenty of hot dogs for me and junk food and bacon. Eat more bacon for me. And I just wanted to say hello on the 4th, do a little trivia. Tried something different. We used to ask a lot of questions before, wanted to try something different and wanted to say hi. And I'm gonna chill, and I know I'm gonna watch Born on the 4th of July, the Tom Cruise movie. I watch it every year. So I watched that movie, and now it's gonna I haven't seen that since they started talking about that, uh, the swamp thing going on in Washington D.C. But Tom Cruise in that movie, they show that same scene and everything. But gonna watch me some Tom Cruise, ladies. So thank you for all your support. You want to support the channel, subscribe, leave comments on other videos, and watch some of our playlists and see some of our older stuff. And thank you guys. You guys can always contact us at Philippine Antics. We'll lead you to all of our sites, Instagram, and all that if you're not signed up, and Facebook. And then it's under George Mendoza. And at the bottom, it'll say Philippine Antics because he's got his personal account and the Philippine Antics account. And there's a Philippine Antic Facebook group. So, Top Gun, no, Born on the 4th of July, Tom Cruise. I probably will watch Top Gun. I'll be watching all the American movies. I'm one of those old souls that watch all the when it's Halloween. I watch nothing but Halloween. I need an episode 2 of Price is Right. I watch the classic one, and then I go through and I do like some word searches to keep my brain and trivia. It's like I keep a daily schedule, and I attribute that to my health. That helps every day. I have things to look forward to, like when I take care of the animals, and I try to keep the same thing going every day. I play the trivia, I watch Prices Right, the classic ones every day. I watch an episode 2 of ER. I keep the same schedule. And I started my chia seed thing again, guys. Chia seeds are really healthy. I put it into, I drink coconut water, and the chia seeds are really good for you too. And so, but all right, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Born on the 4th of July. Great movie. Absolutely. I love that movie. Probably going to watch the Forrest Gump movie too. Another one of my favorite movies. So, all right, guys, stay blessed and thank you for being here.